What is good, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new episode of TAETRO Talks. Here we are today. It's been a while since we've done a call-in show, but that's what we're doing today. If you don't know, we're here every Tuesday morning for me, and we sometimes have guests where we chat with different people from the music industry, different artists. I've talked to people like Laura Escade, Sanjay C, Fidele, like people from all different parts, like people from Sensel, Mike, the founder of Artifon, all different people, like people who make instruments, people who are artists, people who have toured, have extensive experience. And we do those interviews every Tuesday, but occasionally the interview is, I guess you could say, with the community, where you all can call in and we talk about some of the creative, more philosophical side of being an artist, a home studio music producer, all that good stuff. It's not tech support, Colin. Let's make that very clear. Don't call in and ask me how to install this software or you're having a problem with your MIDI keyboard. Not what this show is for. The show is more for like these common questions that I'm sure a lot of people probably experience and can take value from, no matter if you're the one calling or if you're in the audience, you know? So I'm excited for that today. The way it works is I've put a link into the chat, a Zoom link, and you don't have to be too scared about that Zoom link because when you click on it, it won't, it's not like you'll instantly be on a call with me or instantly be on the stream. It's kind of, it puts you in a waiting room. So you have a little bit of time. When you call in, you're in a waiting room. I try to take the calls in the order that they come in. I can see everybody who's in the waiting room now. Hello, folks in the waiting room. Thank you for being patient. But to make sure that I can get your call, you should join the waiting room as soon as possible because sometimes we don't have enough time within the hour to answer all the calls. And we only do this once in a while. So yeah, that's how it works. No video required or anything, just strictly audio in the Zoom. Nobody will see you on stream. They'll just hear you. It's easy. Don't be too scared. Don't be too scared. And I see some folks that have been waiting patiently in the chat. I'm going to take a look at the 343 Labs chat in first, because we are also streaming on 343 Labs channel, as this show is a collaboration with 343 TV, which is daily live music production streaming from different instructors. So if you're not subscribed, youtube.com/343labs. John H. Kingston III from Rockaway Park. What's up, man? You're always holding it down in the chat. And to Seth from Rome, Italy. Thank you for being in the 343 Labs chat. Let me switch gears and hop over to my chat. Enigmatic Onions is trekking through. Actually, you know what? We can hop over here, right? Enigmatic Onion. Hey, TAETRO, trekking through this knee-high snow, getting this mail out in New York. Thank you. Thank you to the postal workers. People don't really think about that, but shout out to the postal workers out there. I heard you guys had a big snowstorm, but you're still getting the mail out there, so thank you. Sandreni's Music Studio, what's up? My mom's here. Hello. Ryan Strickland in the chat and Bruno's Notification Gang, both of you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Get those notifications on if you don't have them, so you know when I go live. Ray Calvin, what's up? Samuel Messiah is here, of course. He'll have his own segment later on in the show. Guaranteed. Look what you done. Yo, what's good? Mage Prometheus. Hello, hello. Butch. Song name from the intro. I don't remember what song's in the intro. It might be unreleased. But right now the music in the background is all stuff that I have on Spotify. Trey Hudson, what's up? Craig Steiber, the Chilled Fox, M.E., hello. Oh, Rev Saves in the chat. Rev Saves, long time no see. Thank you for joining. Red Syrup Music, SRGS, IPFF, Drea Sanchez, what's up? Thank you all for being here today. I think it should be a good show. We've got a decent amount of folks in the waiting room. And I think we can cut the music. We can probably go back to full screen here. And we can start pulling people from the waiting room to chat. Let me see. Well, like I said, I'll try to take these in order as they come. When I do call on you in the chat, it's from the Zoom, it's important that you do not have the stream volume loud because it will bleed in. You'll just have to listen through Zoom and make sure your audio device is selected in Zoom. So Sandra Nelly is going to be the first one up. Hey, what's up, Nina? Thanks for joining the chat. So, Sandra and Nelly, I'm bringing you in from the waiting room. Just make sure you select your microphone, and you're good to go. Hey, Sandra, what's up? Make sure you mute the stream. Hey, hello, Sandra. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
I'm stoked that you're here. Make sure you just mute the stream because it'll be.
Oh, mute the stream. Hold on.
Yeah, it'll be behind in the background for sure.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah. But hey, welcome. Where are you calling in from?
I'm visiting family right now, and I'm in upstate New York where we're getting all the snow.
How is it?
It's not that bad. I'm from Watertown, New York, upstate New York, by
Oh, okay.
Syracuse.
So you're used to this.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not bad.
Cool.
But I've been living in Florida, Central Florida.
Oh, so big change from where you are currently living for sure.
Yes.
That's funny. Well, thank you so much for calling in today, and I hope everybody's staying safe in that snow. What's your question today?
So, okay, there's so
You're
many
excited.
Yes, there's so many amazing synths. You go back to from Serum, you got Pigments, you got Massive, you got so many. What is your favorite and why?
Ooh, that's hard to say. I don't know if I have like a particular favorite. I'm pretty like synth agnostic because I do a lot of like sampling and work with samples.
Yeah, true.
But what I have discovered with VSTs and soft synths is that they have different degrees of like people who make the sounds for them or like access to different sound packs for them, you know, because I'm not like a synthesis person at all. So I'm not programming my own sounds.
I'm remembering now because you do it all on.
Yeah. But that said, I have been using a lot of Serum lately because, and it comes down to having the access to the different sound packs or people that it comes down to the people who are designing sounds for these synths and if there's like a market for sounds designed for the synths, you know. And I find with Serum there's a big market for I have a lot of different packs from people who are doing very contemporary stuff, like certain sound alike. Like I have one that's like supposed to be like Ariana Grande kind of style production, you know. Yeah. And so like I find that super, super useful because if there's like certain contemporary pop music or stuff that I want to make and I can easily find a sound pack for Serum that has those sounds in it, I think that that's really awesome. So that's what it comes down to for me. So I'm really liking Serum for that reason. But that said, like if I'm making something harder, like I was making some cyber trap, like cyberpunk kind of trap influence stuff on stream, I was using Massive because that's like, that's got that certain kind of sound to it, you know?
Yeah.
So it totally depends. But what's your favorite?
I am digging Pigments right now.
Pigments is beautiful. I love Pigments. See, that's the thing too. It's like so genre based. Pigments I love for like ambient, some of the more moody electronic stuff. Like it's really great for that.
But now you have Vital, and then now you have what is the other one? Hermes by Busy Work Beats.
Interesting.
He created that. Hermes. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I have not heard of it.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
We got those two now that just came out, and they like built them on their own and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool too. So I supported it. But I would still have to go with Pigments.
Yeah, there's no shortage of like cool ways to make sound. It's actually a little bit overwhelming at times for sure.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So that was just my question.
Hey, that was a great question and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Good way to start the show today, chat, I would say. I would like to know in the chat actually, what are some of your favorite some of your favorite soft synths? Would love to know. Like I said before, I'm dropping the Zoom link in the chat, so don't be afraid. Click that Zoom link, call into the show. Yeah, RevSave says, don't forget to like. Yeah, it also doesn't refresh as you're watching it, I'm pretty sure. But if you do want to support the channel and the show, please just click the like button while you're sitting here watching it. How do we weed through sample packs? That's a very good question, Trey. I do it by artists. Like I find like an artist sound-alike pack that I really like, and that's what I go for. So I'm not like searching through like a random pack of sounds. I'm like very targeted. Like I want this kind of sound. Let's grab another caller. Timothy, you're up. Make sure you mute that stream. Get your mic ready. A lot of people saying Serum and Iris. I don't know what Iris is. Massive,
What's
silent.
up, TAETRO?
Hey, what's up, Timothy? Welcome to the show.
Hey, okay, looks like I'm muting the stream so I can hear you now.
Perfect.
What's up?
Awesome. Chilling. How are you? Where are you calling in from?
Pretty good. So I'm from Waco, Texas.
Waco, Texas. Is it warm?
Yeah, decently. It's not too cold right now, so it's pretty nice. We got the sun out, so that's fun.
You're flexing on all the people in New York who are covered in snow.
Yeah, I feel bad about that.
That's funny. Well, thanks so much for calling in. And what's your question?
So I wanted to ask about MIDI controllers.
Of course.
Yeah. So one of my sort of side jobs is I create a type of MIDI controller, but I wanted to ask like what has been your best like experience with a MIDI controller and like what makes that particular MIDI controller the best for you, usability wise kind of thing.
Um, that is a big question because I have used so many MIDI controllers, so I think I can answer it in some kind of smart way. But it's like it comes down to, well, I'll put it this way: I can be a very lazy person at times. I can be a very unmotivated person at times, and I can I really need convenience in my life. How can I put that? That's a better way of saying it. And what I found that I've really enjoyed lately is I have a few Bluetooth MIDI controllers. So regardless of like whatever kind of features they have on them, pads, keys, knobs, MPE, whatever, regardless of any of those like main features, I find that if I'm going to just go create spontaneously or something like that, I grab a Bluetooth MIDI controller because I don't need to find a bunch of cables. I don't need to find a dongle. I'm not like tethered to the laptop. You know what I mean? So like that is a big thing for me right now. And there's only a few companies really doing it, like the Artivon Orba, for instance, the Roly stuff. So like Roly blocks, the Lumia I've been using a lot of lately. Before that, I was using a lot of the Seaboard block.
Heck yeah. I'd like to ask a follow-up question based on that, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So I remember like the first time I tried, I think Seaboard or something, I was just having a lot of like latency with the Bluetooth stuff. But at this point, are you not dealing with that kind of like Bluetooth latency at all?
Yeah, no. So I think it's a little bit confusing. I've never had a problem with Bluetooth latency, but I also think a lot of people confuse like Bluetooth latency and audio latency because I use like a JBL speaker in my like a JBL portable speaker in my videos a lot, and people get confused thinking that it's Bluetooth, but it's always kind of hardwired in with a aux cable. So there's that. And then it's also like any MIDI controller can have latency, like whether it's connected or whether it's Bluetooth. And I see people with this problem all the time, even with connected controllers.
Like with sample rate stuff.
Yeah, the buffer size. So like that's what it is. Like people got to lower their buffer size. But with the newer stuff, like I have a little bit of issues with the Lumi that I'm hoping they'll fix with firmware update or something. Not like debilitating issues. I still use it all the time and I love using it. But like there's a couple instances where a note will drop or something like that, you know. But other than that, playing in real time with these instruments and like it's just that convenience factor, you know.
Heck yeah. That's great to hear. I'm working on a MIDI controller myself, but it uses Wi-Fi, and I actually opted to do Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth because of my prior latency experience. But maybe it was just a fluke and it was my buffer size or sample rate back in the day. That's really funny.
Sure.
That's cool to hear that you think those are very usable controllers.
Yeah, I don't know like I don't know anything about the technical side of things, but you might find that Wi-Fi may be more stable or maybe more reliable or maybe it's perhaps cheaper to implement. I have no idea. But if you can really nail, because I know there's a few like Ableton Link, I don't know if you're familiar with, for instance. Yeah, so like you can connect multiple devices and it goes over Wi-Fi and stuff. And the thing that is off-putting about that to me is the fact that you have to, well, you all have to connect to all the same Wi-Fi, obviously, but there is a very easy way to set up kind of like an internal Wi-Fi network. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, where basically like you don't have to connect to somebody's internet connection. You're connecting to like a signal that your own computer is generating and everything can connect to that and you can be offline.
Totally.
If your controller, and which I'm excited to hear more about, if your controller is going to run off Wi-Fi and you can super clearly communicate like how to set that situation up, I think that'll do great for your audience and your user base. So like
yeah.
totally look into like how to communicate that and helping people set that up for themselves the best, because that goes a long way.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate that.
Tell me more about your controller. Well, if you can share.
Yeah, totally. So it's a VR-based controller. It's targeting those new Oculus headsets that are all wireless.
Cool.
And it's called Move Music. So the website is movemusic.xyz.
Nice.
But essentially the concept is you create a sort of virtual 3D controller around you that you interact with your body movements. And so you could control Ableton or whatever DAW you have.
That's so dope. So you should send me a message on Instagram and we should talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Thanks for letting me share. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate your feedback. I love hearing from creators like you and like trying to better understand like what's the best way to be able to create without, issues or things that slow you down.
Absolutely. The last thing that I'll say for you is, because like the thing that you're making is so like it's like pretty niche. I don't say that as a bad thing, but like you would need an Oculus to run it, right?
Yep, totally.
So like there's that factor. If you can make like an awesome way for creators to be able to share with it, where there's like functionality in the app where you can easily share, you can easily record your session or something that helps the people who actually have it like look super cool for having it. I think that will go miles for you, because you're already like operating at like this sort of disadvantage where it's like, okay, and you need an Oculus, but if you make it look so dope that it's like, I need an Oculus so I can get this thing, then like that's the way to go for sure.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much for your input. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for calling in, and let's connect on Instagram. Send me a message.
Heck yeah, will do.
Peace out, man. See ya. That's fun, isn't it, chat? Chat, I'm curious to know. Let us know in the chat. What do you think of what would you think of a VR kind of controller? And hey, Rev Sabes, join in at the VIP tier as a member. Thank you so much, Rev Sabes, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. And just FYI, before we go into the next call, I see a few other people in the waiting room. Don't worry, I will get to you. So folks, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. So we are also streaming later today because we are on a strict streaming schedule, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. On my channel, we're doing different things. Tonight, I'm doing track reviews. So that's at 7 p.m. PST. And if you do want your music reviewed, you don't necessarily have to become a member. However, members and people in my Discord channel or server are going to be prioritized tonight for track reviews. So we'll make some music and we'll review some tracks, but that's going to be later today on stream. So make sure you set the reminder, because the pre-stream is already up, and become a member if you do want your music prioritized. And we're going to do these regularly. So you can become a member at any tier and your music will always be prioritized if you want that consistent feedback. But yeah, that's what's happening. So make sure you are ready for the stream later tonight. I appreciate you. Trey, that sounds like a really cool idea. Like accessibility is like kind of a big issue for folks in the MIDI and controller world and music world. So that's cool. Yeah, you guys are chatting about it. All right, let's grab another. Oh, hey, what's up, Andrew Duke in the 343 chat? Horizon, I'm bringing you into the Zoom. Let's do it. Folks, dropping in the link in the chat. Don't be afraid to call in and get in that waiting room so I can make sure I can take your call within the hour. Hey, what's up, Horizon?
Hey, TAETRO.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's actually my birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday. Can we all get a happy birthday for Horizon in the chat, please? Where are you calling in from today?
I'm from Arizona.
Very cool. So another warm state.
My question for you is, once you get new equipment, what is like so my question is, should I get Ableton Live Lite to practice, or should I just go straight into the Pro Edition?
That's a good question. It's a pet, like, get the best that you can afford, don't break the bank. But are you at all on the fence about, like, if you're gonna get the full version, you have to commit to it. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And what's cool is there is a 30-day trial of like the 100% like pro suite version.
Okay, cool.
So like I would highly recommend doing that. Try it for 30 days, and if you're super into it, great. But like test the water, you know, like maybe test Logic or test like FL Studio or like whatever people use. Like see what the free trials are out there. Test Bitwig and just see like what calls to you. But no matter which one you choose, they're all gonna have some type of learning curve, and you're gonna have some frustrations where you don't really understand what you're doing, and you'll have to watch tutorials. So like if you can just embrace that and know that that's gonna happen no matter what software. I mean, the sooner you choose one and pick one and stick with it, the sooner you'll progress in terms of music, you know? So
yeah,
I wouldn't dwell on it too much, but it is worth doing the due diligence because these things aren't cheap, you know, like especially Ableton, it's on a little bit more of the expensive side. Another thing to look at too is like maybe do a little bit of research on the producers that you really like and what they use. So just think about that, because it's likely that if they make the stuff that you make, you're consuming a lot of their stuff. They might have tutorials themselves out on how they make what they make in their DAW of choice, which will be really helpful to you if you're using the same DAW. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the last thing I'll say is there's no reason you can't become a sort of master of multiple software. I know an artist, Daltrick, or her name's Claire. She's an Ableton-certified trainer, but she's also Apple-certified and Bitwig-certified, I'm pretty sure. And she knows all these programs. So it's like it's not impossible to be like she's like super smart. She's like way smarter than I could ever be. But she has a show on Mondays on 343 TV. So make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/343labs. But it is not impossible to learn all these. However, if you're not trying to break the bank and you're just trying to get your feet wet and start really learning something, do a little bit of research, pick one, stick with it, embrace the frustrations. That's my main advice.
Wow, thank you so much, TAETRO. That really
hope it was
put the
helpful.
nail on the head for me.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Horizon, for calling in, and happy birthday. Do you mind if I ask how old are you turning today?
Today I just turned 28.
28. We're the same age. That's great.
Nice. Well, I really appreciate your videos, man. You really influenced me a lot. So thank you for everything you're doing.
I appreciate that. And I couldn't do that without folks like you and supporting and showing up to all the content. So thank you. And thank you for calling in today.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Happy birthday. We love a birthday call-in question, chat. Did you guys get like a weird PC noise? My PC is so annoying. Where are we going? Let's go back to full screen. I guess I've had chat open for a while. Elliot, hey, we got some more calls to take, but I do want to check in. Good point from Sam Boswell, who says multi-band dynamics, sample chopping, echo, glue compressors. A good amount of things are in standard that aren't in light. Yeah, that's a good point. But it's definitely worth investing in a program no matter what it is. Some programs are more investments than others. And, you know, you can do a lot with a little, too. I know there's a lot not in the light version. However, you know, limitations spark creativity, for sure. We've had that conversation multiple times on this show. Hello, Max Wild from Berlin. Max Wild's got Theory Thursdays every Thursday on youtube.com/343labs, where it's like specific genre-based music theory lessons, like for electronic musicians in Ableton Live. So if you've thought music theory was boring in the past, didn't really apply to you as a music producer or electronic musician, that's a great show to watch because it's in the context of electronic music, Ableton Live, all that good stuff. Let's keep rolling with the calls. I've got Julio. Let's get him in here. Just make sure you unmute your mic, Julio, and we'll be good to go. I see some questions in the chat, which I will of course take when we're not live with a call. I'll do my best. Julio, just make sure you unmute yourself in Zoom. There we go. Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, thank you. How are you, TAETRO?
I am great. You're coming in hot. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling from Mexico.
From Mexico. It's sunny and warm in Mexico today?
Yeah, it's a lovely here where I am. I'm like Maybe 3 hours ago from the Pacific Sea, and
Wow.
it's pretty hot in here. We have right now 32 Celsius degrees.
I can't do math in my head, so I have no idea what that means in Fahrenheit, but I'll take your word that it means warm.
It's pretty hot.
That's great. You know, you have a great energy, Julio. You sound very like upbeat, happy, energized. Like, what's going on? Are you stoked like for the day?
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know. It's like, I guess happiness will be the purpose of everybody here in Earth. So
yeah,
I like to share all that happiness, you know, and I would say hello to all of your fans and all the people that are tuning the show today. It's great to be here talking with you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. And, you know, it's a big community. So, like, it's a thing that we're all a part of. It's lots of, like, I don't like thinking about it's like, oh, my fans, whatever. But it's like a community that we're all a part of. I just happen to be like, I'm hosting the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But thanks for calling in. What's your question today?
Well, I have a pretty technical question. I have this problem with my gear.
I'll try.
I have not found the solution of this. Okay. I have an Akai. Well, all my gear is Akai.
Sure.
And I have the APC Key 25, the LPD8, the MIDI Mix, and the APC Mini.
You got quite the setup there.
Thank you. I obviously all of my gear is you know, from secondhand. I don't know if it's correct in English.
Yeah. So you like bought it used.
Exactly. It's
smart.
Used. But I want to make a parenthesis in this part, because I know you have a lot of members of the community that are starting with the production and all this in all this world, and I guess you can find very great products in that are having used by other people.
Yeah,
and it's amazing what you can find in the controls that are in market, you know.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because one of the first big controllers that I bought was the Akai APC40, like the original one, and I bought that used on eBay because I couldn't afford like a brand new one, so I bought a used version, and I still have it today. And I bought lots of gear used, especially when I was first starting out. I not only bought gear, but I would sell gear to like upgrade the gear that, you know, like I needed to upgrade. So I would use the gear for a little bit, grow out of it, sell it on Craigslist, but then also buy some new gear like on Craigslist or on eBay, you know? So that's super smart for everybody who's on a budget.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, as you said, you can sell the equipment when you realize that you need more things or more something extra that you want to do.
Totally.
And you can do it with your equipment, no? So the problem that I have now is that with the CC directions from the MIDI, you know?
Yeah. This is a nightmare world. This is a scary world that I don't know if I have completely figured out, but look, go ahead with your question. It's always confusing and it's always frustrating.
Oh, it's very frustrating because, you know, it like, because of the years of this gear, we don't have the correct firmware, you know, or the editor's program. So I have the MIDI Mix editor, so that's correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have the LPD, correct, perfect. But in Ableton, when I'm working and I'm mapping all these devices, I have, for example, the APC Key 25 and the APC Mini. They have the same direction, the 8 knobs with the 8 faders of the APC Mini. And I don't understand why. I can just not find the editor for the APC Mini and the APC Key 25, you know?
Right.
So it's a completely nightmare because I'm having 8 knobs with no control.
Yeah, and it feels like a little bit useless, you know?
Yeah, it's useless because I'm doing right now, for example, I'm working with, for a live session, you know, I'm having the first 3 rows or the 3 channels, the 3 first channels, I have loops from a variety of songs, and the fourth one, well, the 4 to the 8, it's my songs, you know, with the different stems, or like the beat, the melody, etc. Then I have the 9th channel with an instrument, well, a rack of instruments, a 4th instruments rack the next one with a fourth instrument rack.
So you've got like a pretty extensive project you're trying to control here for sure. And how is it? How are you dealing with it now without having all the control?
Well, I'm trying to. I'm really tired of searching, for all these things.
Totally.
And I have a lot of learning from that part, because I was checking a lot of things, and then I realized that I could find some solutions, for example, with Clifix,
Yeah. A lot of
And
people use that, and I have very little experience with it. Does it work well for you?
Yeah, sort of things, not at all. Not everything. It's magical for everybody.
That's
You
great.
have to use it. And for example, when you are looping, there's a lot of commands that you can apply with Clifix, and it's amazing what your workflow will improve. But here, what I'm trying to do with all these things, um, I have not found the solution with Clifix,
Sure.
and it's like you said, it's 8 knobs that are completely useless. And for example, with the LPD8, you have 4 banks, right?
Yep.
So it's a nightmare changing that 4 banks, because you have to press program, and then
it becomes cumbersome. It becomes not conducive to like a performance or creativity.
Yeah,
it becomes
exactly.
Well, I mean, like that's my main thing with this stuff. That's why I usually try to keep it minimal to like 1, 2, or maybe even 3 controllers sometimes to performance, because it becomes so like about the gear, and you're paging through like templates or macros or whatever. So like that's like, I can't answer the technical question because I don't know the particular situation. I mean, there should be editors for those controllers, I would hope, because it's a Kai. There should be editors where you can control the CC. I know for certain controllers, like if you're using Ableton Live, you can set a channel to only receive MIDI from a specific controller. But if there's like cross contamination with the CCs and they're cross talking, so you're getting like one signal is the same signal on another controller, that is always going to cause issues. And I guess you got to ask, like, do I need this many knobs? Could I do a little bit less? Like, is it worth the headache? Like that's the main thing I ask. Like, is it worth it?
I was like trying to make a very minimal setup, but then I realized you have your process, and you are discovering new techniques and new things and new stuff. And for some reason, I realized that I would like to control in total like our 8, 16, another 8. Oh man, I like 48.
So many
in total, because for example, I have one channel with a group of percussion. So
sure.
I have 8 channels with just the kick, the
Let me ask you
snare.
this is a very important question, Julio. So like, are you performing like live, or are you putting out videos, or are you like releasing music? Like, what of those things are you doing? Or is music just a hobby and you don't care about any of those things?
Well, it's a hobby. I have been DJing for around 20 years, since when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And now maybe 2 years ago, I realized that I would like to make my music and to produce something, and I released 5 tracks, but just for fun,
Yeah. So like, what brings you the most joy? What does tinkering, like with like figuring all these things out and programming and all that stuff, does that bring you joy, or are you feeling like you're being restricted because of the technical stuff? You're not able to get out enough, or you're not able to like perform enough because you're in it with the technical stuff? Or do you just love the technical stuff? Like what about this brings you joy? Like, does the technical stuff feel like a hindrance, or do you love it?
No, it's like a discovering, and I don't know. It's like I enjoy both things,
Sure.
I'm like invest in doing the research. You learn a lot of things,
Yeah.
and you realize of some other things, and it's magical. All the process where you are combining all this stuff. But I realized that I love make some live sessions. Not just the looping part.
Right.
I mean, for example, I don't know if you can hear, but You know, I have that sound.
Yep.
And I can integrate it with, for example, this bass. I don't know if you can hear it.
Getting a little live show. It's not perfect over the Zoom, but yeah, I can get a feel for it.
Okay, it's like, for example, you know, the rhythm of cumbia bass, and for example, you can add the instruments from this keyboard that is a reaction VST,
Totally.
and it's like a trance sound, and you can combine it with this cumbia aspects, and that's a kind of motivation for me. You know, I really care about the introducing of the mixture of these complements of kind of music, you know.
Totally. Well,
So,
Julio, it sounds like you're super like having a good time, even though you're trying to figure things out technically. So like, I think that that's great. So embrace that journey and all that. I'm sorry I can't answer the question on the CC like MIDI mapping issues. So like, I'm sorry you're having that. Like, my instinct would be just to like pare it down and like try to use a little bit less so that I don't have to deal with these issues. But if you love the tinkering and you love figuring it out, I think you should go deep into it. And hopefully folks in chat can maybe point you in the right direction too. So chat, if you have suggestions for Julio, please continue the conversation in chat. But Julio, I have some other calls to get to. I appreciate you calling in today though.
yes, of course. Spend a great time. Have a great day, a great year. All my congratulations for you and for all the community that are making music. And well, peace out from Mexico. Out. The best for all of you.
Thanks so much. Have a good one. Good call. Good call. All right. What's chat? What are you all talking about? We have a few more people in the waiting room to grab. When will I have a review for the M Audio Oxygen Pro series? I talked to M Audio. I would really like to get my hands on the mini, the 25 key, the mini one, but I don't think it's out yet. Or is it a 30 something, 32? It's not like in retailers yet. So they're going to try to get it to me when it's officially out. So hopefully soon, maybe within a month or two. Not sure how the coronavirus is affecting the distribution. How did I learn to play my MIDI, asks Bensi? Well, I learned to play keyboard. I learned songs that I really liked on keyboard, and I just kept learning songs that I really like, and through that I kind of learned a little bit of I learned what I liked to make. And then I went to college. I had to take a couple piano classes as well. TAETRO, not trying to stream jack callers, would really love to see some iPad production content in the future. Yeah, iPad production is frustrating for me. I don't do it a whole lot, but I do love the idea of it. It's more portable than a laptop. Perhaps. I love Andrew Wong's new app, the Flip Sampler. Apps like that, apps like the Flip Sampler, Groovebox Sampler without the E, all great apps to use for sure. What songs would you recommend for learning? Bensi, it's all about the music that you like. Take your favorite songs and learn how to play them on the keyboard. That's what I say. Let's keep going with the calls. And every call-in show, we have a special guest, member of the community that spends a lot of time on the channel, is maybe first to most, if not all, videos when they go up in his time zone. He shares with the community, a bright young mind. Samuel Messiah, take it away.
Hello, this is my segment, Samuel Says.
Welcome back to the show. Samuel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling, very busy with the stream schedule and all that, as you probably know. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, these days, the corona thing is going down, but just everything's trying to recover. Sure. It's not really going as planned, but it's fine.
And we're probably in it for at least another year of kind of everything trying to recover, but not going well. But all these things are happening at once. It's a little bit overwhelming. But what can I do besides sit in my studio and stream and talk to you all on Zoom?
Yeah, I mean, you have no control over the situation. Exactly. So why not just embrace the moment?
That's a good philosophy. You got questions today? Comments, haikus, statements?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
take it away.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, most of them are car thoughts because we live in a city, so we spend a lot of time in cars. It's like
feel that.
car thoughts.
Sometimes, like I used to have a very long commute, hour-long commute, and you do some of your best thinking in the car.
Yeah. Okay. Why do people focus so much on vocals?
What do you mean?
Like, why do you add so many compressors and EQs and reverbs and delays and multi-band compressors? Like, why focus so much on the vocals?
You mean like why spend so much time processing the vocals?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everybody's looking for like a certain sound. Like everybody's looking for either like a natural sound, like they want to get it right in your ears, or they want it to be like super compressed because it sounds, I don't know. Like I've been listening to a lot of Hyperpop lately, and that is the most extreme version. It's super auto-tuned. The formant is like pitched pretty high up. It's super compressed. Sometimes it's got distortion on it. I think that's just like that times 10, you know, that like processing philosophy times 10. But I don't know. I think it's just a certain style. It's like people do that with guitars too. I don't think it's particular to vocals. You have guitars, people have like 20 pedals, you know what I mean? And they're processing it through a distortion and a flanger and a whatever, and everybody's just looking for a unique kind of sound, you know what I mean?
I guess it's more about experimentation, really.
Yeah, but also to get a good sounding, it's not easy to get a good sounding natural vocal, especially in a home recording setup, but in a studio in general, like without a very expensive microphone, like through processing, it's a little bit tough to get a very good vocal sound. It's pretty tricky. And because a vocalist is usually the main focus of the track, right? So it's not like, oh, I'll process this synth or whatever and it'll be panned left and I'll bring it down in the mix and nobody will really hear it. It's like, no, the singer is the person in front of everybody. Like everybody's hearing it. It's the main focus of the song. It's usually carrying the main melody, so it's got to sound good. So I think that focus and attention is one of the reasons for sure.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you have any mixing resources? Because like I'm thinking of sending my track in for the track review.
Yeah.
But I don't really have it mixed.
Dude, send it in. Who cares? It doesn't have to be like a perfect mix. Well, mixing resources, I read a really good book that I think, well, I have a really good book. I didn't like read it cover to cover, but it's called Mixing Audio. And the thing that I like about this book is that it has very particular mixes and songs that you can reference. So like one thing I can think of is there's a couple different mixes of a Nirvana song, and I forget what song it is, but it's like one's a Butch Vig mix and then the other is a different producer. I'm totally forgetting. It's been so long since I read this book. But the fact that the book comes along with not only the resources and the understanding of what you need to know about mixing, but it also gives examples so you can hear the differences and it can like call out those differences. That helped me a lot. So that book is called Mixing Audio. But I'll tell you my just general process, like the things that I've learned about mixing, the key principles that I carry through my productions is, first of all, headroom. So my Ableton Live project defaults with every single track at minus 12 dB. And that's because I always know that I'm going to put a mastering chain on it with a compressor, with like stuff to make it louder, you know? So if I know I'm going to put a mastering chain that's meant to make my track louder, I don't need to have the track super loud in that first mix before it goes through a master. There's that. And then another mixing principle that I've carried through is every single thing that does not need to have low end in it, I sweep the low end out of, whether I can hear low end in it or not. Because a lot of the times you check the EQ, and if you have like a graphical EQ, you can see, even if it's like a high lead, it's got stuff fluttering down on the left-hand side of the EQ in the lowest of low frequencies. And that will definitely affect your mix in a negative way, even though you can't hear it. So everything, I sweep lows out of. Everything that does not need low frequencies. So basically everything other than the bass
like
and the kick. Yeah, that stuff. Like even like the kick, a lot of times my kick drums don't need to have a lot of sub bass in them because I have a 808. So I don't want those to conflict. So I keep sub frequencies in the 808. I take them out of the kick, things like that. So paying attention to the low end. The last thing that I'll say I learned is like subtractive EQ. which is basically when you're working through an EQ and there's a sound, like you have your sound, you have your instrument, it sounds kind of good, but there's maybe some problematic frequencies in it. Like it sounds almost good, but it needs a little to be cleaned up a little. You take a very narrow EQ band and you just raise it up super high so that it's like making those frequencies super loud. And then I just scan across the frequency spectrum until I hit certain resonances that hurt my ears or that sound bad. And then I do the exact reverse. So I have it all the way up high, so the gain is super loud, and then I bring the gain all the way down on that frequency. So I'm subtracting like very, very particular frequencies and resonances that sound terrible. And I do that very commonly with guitar. I learned how to do that from watching a guitar tutorial of people mixing guitar, because I was like, why? Like, I feel like my guitar sounds good, but in the mix, it doesn't sound good. It sounds kind of trash. And subtractive EQ went a long way. Mixing tips in the chat, please. If you have mixing tips, I would love to know. But yeah.
Interesting. I never thought that much about mixing. Like, I always focused on the music.
I mean, that's the thing is that's what we do in home studios, right? We're making our own music. We're the writers, we're the songwriters, we're the producers, we're the mixers, we're the masterers. Like, unless we outsource any of that stuff, we're doing all of those things. And each one of those things is its own job. Like in the music industry, there are people that just mix. And then there are people that just master. Yeah, like there are people that make this their life and their job. So like, I think it's easy to say, like, I will never be at the mixing level of somebody who has dedicated their entire life to mixing and that's all they do for a living, because I do all these other things. So there's no way that I could put the same amount of time that they're putting in. So the final thought on mixing is like, I am not the perfect mixing engineer. I'm never going to be the perfect mixing or mastering engineer. So I'm going to do the best that I can with the knowledge that I have. And then I'm going to put music out that maybe might be imperfect to one of those experts, but it's the best that I can do. And if I don't do that, then I will not put out any music because it's not, perfect. Or one day I'll make enough money that I'll be able to send my stuff to a mix engineer and get it mixed, or a mastering engineer or whatever, So there's that. But for now, till that happens, just doing it on my own with the best that I can. And so that's why I encourage you, do the best that you can, submit your music for the track review. Because what's the point in not, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to mix it at the Grammy award-winning level. So where does it stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not you're never. You could one day if you take that path in life. But today, on this day, I doubt Samuel Messiah at his young age is going to be able to mix it at the Grammy award-winning level. And then that's okay. It's the best that you can do with the knowledge that you have at this time.
Yeah. My birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday yesterday. You turned, let me guess, 14.
Yup.
I nailed it. That's great.
Good job.
Did you celebrate with music?
More sushi than music because I finished school very late.
Nice. You had to go to school on your birthday? A lot of birthdays lately.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, school's a real pain in the butt. I hate it.
Hey, but once you get through it, it's over, and then you never have to think about it again. That's where I'm at. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Use your experiences during school to, I don't know, try to make connections with people. Use the experiences as inspiration. Use any downtime you have to create, and don't take it for granted because it will be over soon.
Sure. So back to the birthday thing.
Okay.
I made a list of things I want to get for my birthday.
Hey, belated birthdays for Samuel Messiah in the
things.
chat, please. Drop the belated birthdays. All right, keep going. Sorry.
The top 3 things are Ableton Standard, a 49 key MIDI controller, because I feel really, really restricted with the 25 keys on the launch key.
These are things you asked for?
I keep on going back and forth to... Sorry?
These are things you asked for, things you want? What are these things?
Yeah, just like on my list for stuff to get throughout the year.
Okay. So Ableton Live Standard.
And then a 49 key MIDI controller, because I keep going back and forth to my electric piano, because that has like the full 88 keys.
Yeah.
And I feel way more comfortable on that than a 25 key MIDI controller.
Totally.
And then finally, monitors.
Monitors. That is a good... You're doing it in the right order, I would say. I think that those are good things for you to start building your studio this year. And
are those the JBL 104s on your desk?
yes. What I'll say is I have this little box of a room, so it's probably because of the room, but I don't love the bass response on them. But like I said, I'm in a tiny, tiny little room. So, but other than that, they're good. I mostly bought them for the aesthetic because they match the studio, and I have my KRK RP5s in my bedroom. So,
yeah. What would be the order of priorities in your way of thinking?
well,
Like, what should I get first?
you
What should I get last?
you did just ask about mixing. However, you're still working with like a limited version of Live. So I would say like software first, like upgrade your software first, and then probably monitors are very important as well, because you're just asking about mixing and getting better mixes, and a lot of that has to do with how you're actually listening to your music. But to circle back to the mixing thing too, the other thing that I do for mixing is I export my track, I put it onto Google Drive, so it's on my phone, and then I listen to it on the speakers in here in my studio. I listen to it on the speakers in my bedroom. I listen to it in my AirPods. I listen to it with these headphones. I listen to it in the car. And if I can pretty much get it to sound good across all those speakers, then I'm ready to release it. Sometimes I don't even do all those. I just do headphones, speakers, and then I feel like it's good to go. That's my other mixing tip, is listen to it on a variety of speakers and keep revising it until it sounds good on all those speakers. But yeah, for you, priority and gear, I would say upgrade your DAW, and then get some good monitors for sure.
And going back to Horizon's question,
Yeah.
should I try the free trial? Like, is it that big of a jump between light and standard?
Well, what is the very easy way to find out?
Just try it out.
Yeah, so why are you asking me that? Come on. I don't know, because I've never used standard. I've only ever used suite, so I can't speak to the different limitations. But if it was the difference between I can get standard next month or I can get suite in 9 months, I would say get standard. But if it's like I could make the investment now and get the full version, or I could just get whatever, then it's whatever. But if you are hung up waiting to upgrade, I would say start making as soon as possible, because that's the faster you can start learning.
Yeah, nice. I actually remembered one of the questions I wanted to ask a few weeks ago.
Take it away.
What's possible to save on a drive? Because like my MacBook storage is dying. Just like...
Yeah. So I have all my stuff on a 1 terabyte SSD. I mean, when I say all my stuff, I mean most of my big heavy plugins, like my Native Instrument stuff that takes up a ton of room. I have all that on an SSD that is literally Velcroed to my laptop, so it never leaves my laptop. It's tiny. So I have much more room on my laptop now. For all my video editing, I use 4 terabyte Lacy drives. So like if I shoot a video, I take all that footage, I put it onto an external Lacy drive, and then I edit off of that drive. I do a little bit of editing off the SSD too, because it's so much faster. But basically nothing besides my project files lives on my computer. And like if I do like pictures or something, or like any audio recording and stuff, that lives on the computer too. So like with taking all of the plugins and sample libraries off of the Mac hard drive, I have plenty of room to do all the audio recording and anything else. Like I have gigabytes free. So, hey, Samuel left. He left me. Oh, he's back. Hey, you're back, Samuel. How's it going? Nope, he's gone. Well, that's okay, because we're coming to the end of the show anyway. But I would love to hear how you all in the chat, how do you store your plugins and stuff? How are you storing everything? I was not doing the SSD thing for a while, but the content was just too much. What's your thought on USB mics? USB mics can be great. I've used lots of USB mics before. New here. What is this? This is a call-in show. We do a call-in/interview show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST. Sometimes we have guests. We've had people like Sanjay C. We've had different house music producers, touring musicians. Neon Vines has been on the show. So it's really fun. But then we also do call-in shows. So that's what today's show is. So the show's coming to a close right now. However, I will be streaming later today at 7 p.m. PST. And I'll be doing track reviews as well. I think I'll be making some music and do a track breakdown too. It's going to be a long stream. So if you want to tune in at 7 p.m. tonight, you can go back to my channel and set a reminder because the pre-stream link is already up. So make sure you do that. I also tweet out whenever I go live and I put it on my Instagram story. So if you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram, you should be. Let's see. How do you send in your track for the stream later? So to send in tracks, I'm prioritizing Discord members, which you can join the Discord by becoming a member at any tier on the channel. So you just hit the join button, become a member, and then you link your Discord account and you can get into the server. And then when it comes time, if there's time for other submissions, just be in the chat and be ready because I'm going to send out instructions during the stream. Just make sure that your track is at a shareable link, or else you're just going to make it complicated. I won't be able to see it. So make sure it's at a shareable link that is public to access. If it's downloadable, that's bonus points. And just be ready and come hang on the stream tonight. Tape 9, hey, I love your content. How is it being able to get outside and make music? It's nice. I bought a van so I could travel kind of safely and stay away from people. And it's nice to be able to go to remote locations and make music. It really inspires the music. But Tape 9, how has your content creation been going? Because I know you have a channel where you make videos and stuff. And I saw you do a video not too long ago. Can't remember what it was. Jim, thank you for being here. And thank you for hanging out on the show. I appreciate that. Nope, my chat jumped. Hey, Timothy, thank you for calling in. I'd love to hear more about your Move controller. That's cool. Wi-Fi bug for same home as I. That's okay. Yes. How can I find free plugins for or presets for Ableton? You can go onto google.com, Google, and .com, and type in free plugins or presets for Ableton, and then hit search. You can also watch Sanjay C's news show every week because he always talks about free plugins on his show. Trey Hudson, if you want to chat, I'm not sure what you want to chat about, but you should put it in the chat. My email inbox is a little bit crazy. Billboard Shaw says, got to get Ricky Tinez as a guest. Well, you're in luck, my friend, because we've already had him as a guest. Enrique's a great guy. You should go back and look at the playlist of TAETRO Talks. Beisha, what's good? Beisha, we're doing a stream later tonight, and I hope that you will submit music for it. But yeah, that's going to be it. We're coming to an end here on the show, but I appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate all the callers for calling in. I hope even if you didn't call in, that you could take some value from the questions and from the answers, and that I hope you could answer each other's questions in the chat too, because that's more important than me just talking and answering. No problem, Beisha. Red Syrup, I'm glad you loved the show today. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and I will have the show later tonight. But more importantly is 343 Labs, youtube.com/343 Labs, because if you don't care about my streams, like who cares? You can watch a music production stream every single day on youtube.com/343 Labs with other instructors. Well, they're highly more technically capable, qualified instructors. Tomorrow we've got Lewis Beck, who is talking about audio sampling and audio processing. So you all should definitely tune into his show, youtube.com/343 Labs. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, set your reminder for tomorrow's stream. Watch his show. It'll be in the end screen so you can look at it and decide. Courses with 343 Labs are also available if you want to do deeper dives into your favorite DAW of choice, or learn about synthesis, or learn about mixing, which is stuff that we talked about. Yes. I'll answer more questions on stream tonight. I know there's a lot more questions kind of lingering in the air, so come hang on stream 7 p.m. PST tonight. Streams from last week are going to be coming down and becoming members only. So streams from the previous week will be up for 1 week, but then they'll become members only. So if you want to dig back into last week's streams, you have a little bit of time left, but then they are going to switch to members only. So dig through those as you can today, and that'll be it. Track submissions for tonight, we'll talk about that tonight, but if you want priority and you want to join the Discord, like you can submit your track right now on Discord, but you have to become a member, so hit the join button. That is how to get to the front of the line. But thank you all so much. That's going to be it for today. Where's my button that I got to hit? I hope you all like this wide cam too. Oh, you can't see the wide cam unless I do this. Wide cam. But yeah, this was a good chat. I always enjoy doing call-in shows. We'll have to do these more often. I think we have a guest next week. I can't remember who it is, but I'm booking some cool guests. I have one that I'm really excited about, and my fingers are crossed. And I don't want to say who it is because it's not confirmed. But if I get this guest, chat, it's game over. I can retire. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Like the video. Please comment on it after it becomes like a VOD. And that's going to be it. Come back at 7 p.m. for the track review stream. And we'll do track breakdown. And we'll do like a little bit of music making too. It'll be a fun hangout. Go for longer, like 3-4 hours. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.